We're developing our own black and white film in the AGO film processor, and we're ending up with images in Lightroom, all in this video, plus a lot of other tips. This video got really out of hand. I was expecting a 10 to 12 minute, it's not that. So if you want to learn about film development, you have found the right video. I have never personally developed a roll of film in my life. My friend Panda has always developed them, but today that's all gonna change. We're gonna develop our own film. I actually feel a little bad not really understanding the film development process and just relying on other people. Also, now labs, we have a great lab in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. We're gonna visit them later, Panda Plush, Ryan. But for a lot of people, you now have to physically mail your film into a proper pro lab. And that's a little scary to put it in an envelope, but now you can just do it right at home. This is the AGO film processor, a compact device for at-home development of your film. It does 35mm, 120, and all the way up to 8x10 film. That means you can develop your film at home when you want to. You're not mailing it to a lab. When you develop your film yourself, you also get to have full control over the scans as well. So you're not getting flat scans back. You're just doing everything exactly as you want it to look in your computer. Today's wedding shoot, I'm going to be shooting HP5. Black and white film. Black and white's gonna be the first roll that we develop, but we're also going to show you some samples developed in C41. The AGO film processor makes it really easy to keep it's mostly down to temperature and agitation, and it just keeps everything on track for you, whereas black and white is a little more forgiving for temperature. So first we're gonna shoot the rolls, and then we're gonna go see Ryan, and he's going to give us a lot more tips about how to develop and scan your own film, because he's an absolute master at it. Satisfying. AGO film processor, using it for the first time, no test roll, 360 no scope headshot, joined by Ryan for supervision. Panda Plush.
Hey, hello, hello.
Film Lab, Kitchener, Ontario. So with the AGO processor came a collection of other items. Now I'm gonna put links down below to all of them, and we're gonna be doing black and white off the start, and then I'm gonna show you some color examples as well from C41. The benefit of this machine, black and white, I feel like is a very achievable thing to do on your own at your house without a machine like this, keeping temperatures consistent for you. But with this processor, C41 becomes achievable to do at your home. Overall, processor, pretty simple. You turn it on, and there's a variety of different programs you can use depending on your chemistry and what process you're gonna do. You can even do E6, do some slide film.
You could definitely do it in there.
We shoot a lot of E6 on the channel here. I guess I could do that at home now.
Yes, you can.
Is that harder?
It is harder. You would just probably come buy chemistry from here, and I just mix it to order. You take the bottles back home. Because otherwise you buy a big bag of E6 chemistry, you're not gonna shoot that much E6 in a year. Well, maybe you would. The average home user would not go through 40 Ektachrome. That'd be
So I'm gonna be developing on my own for the first roll ever, and then Ryan's gonna fill in some things that you should know if you are developing your film at home. Just some helpful tips. You've probably done what, 10,000 rolls?
Probably close to 10,000.
Okay. And he also not only does C41 black and white, E6, and what else, ECN.
ECN.
But you also slop some stuff up. You put some orange juice in it sometimes.
I don't do that. Some people bring that stuff into me, yeah, and then I develop it after. Yes, that's called souping film.
We're also using this EZ35 scanner, which fits on the end of your camera here. So this is an extension tube that comes with it. And then this is basically just a nice backlight with a little film holder in here.
Yep.
So you just pull it through and you scan nice and easily. And then we're gonna do some scanning as well on the computer in Negative Lab. Everything also charges USB-C. The scanner, USB-C, and the AGO film processor, also USB-C. It does come with some quick start guides, but there are also some very helpful YouTube videos as well. So I have preloaded my brain, watched one of those YouTube videos, and then also outsourced some of it to Ryan over here. So if I screw it up, he's gonna override.
Yes.
But you can get started with these quick start guides right here. First up, here we have film retriever 35mm. And what this does is it's gonna pull out the lead. So you gotta get this back out so you're able to load this film into the tank. So I'm gonna do it with this, Ryan's gonna do it with...
We'll see who wins. All right, let's do some organization here. So with black and white, you could just do manual agitation. You can do tabletop agitation like that. Doing it this way is nice because you can save chemicals. You don't need to have the film fully submerged. It can just be rotating the whole time. It'll be half submerged. It'll work just fine. Less chemicals, less waste, and save some money too. We'll be using this tank because it's needs one reel. Yeah. This takes two. Okay.
All right, swapping the tank to a smaller tank since we're just doing one roll.
Or maybe they gave you both. Oh,
is that a reel?
Look at all the reels you got.
Wow, I'm ready.
So clean. These are ball bearing wheels. Wheels.
With this processor, you can also do 35mm, 120.
Yeah.
You can do up to 8 by 10.
So the ball bearing, you just have to do that. But as long as the reels are clean, it'll go on okay.
That was really good.
And as long as the sprockets are not ripped, it'll go on okay.
And it's designed that way so you don't have to touch the film, right?
You don't have to touch the film. You need to keep the reels really clean and it'll work just fine.
So this is what's gonna happen. Loose film right here,
Now give it a try.
and then loading it in.
Yeah.
And now it's on the reel in the dark bag. And then in the dark bag, this is going into here, right?
That's going into there, yeah.
And then this goes in here.
Yeah.
Again, still in the bag. Like
So that's fully light sealed now. If there are any lights going in, it's going through this hole, going down there and just hitting the bottom of this black tank. Ideally, you wouldn't want to do this in bright sunlight. Eventually light will get in some way, but that looks good.
And then you have your roll, you pull it out of the bag, and you're ready to process.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna do it for real in a bag. Here it is. So not only can you change your film in it, but you can also use it as an on-location change tent too if you're doing a portrait.
Yeah, there's little armholes,
Get your arms in there.
so we can be bros.
Just two
Yep.
guys having a good time.
At the bottom, there's a double zipper, so put everything you need in there, zip up both ends.
So here we go. So any small pieces of dust
It'll
are
get,
bad.
it'll get mostly washed off with like the multiple rounds. But yeah, just keep your stuff clean is ideal.
And also for scanning, make sure your film's nice and clean.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're gonna tiny little dust speck is gonna be a lot of pixels in your.
Yeah, with
image.
black and white, there's no infrared. You can't use infrared light to remove dust. So we'll clean that off. I would
do you
recommend
go?
don't waste any of the film. I cut a little curve on the corners of the film to let it go onto the reel a little bit nicer. Okay, that's ready to go. So we're gonna need scissors for the end. Get to the end.
Load it all the way in.
And then cut, yeah.
cut.
So cut is like, try not to cut through your last frame or anything like that.
So in the bag right now, we have the reel, we have the film,
Pick up real film.
we have the scissors for cutting off the film when you get to the roll. Don't cut through your final frame. Then we have the tank as well. We're gonna zip this, we're gonna
Velcro it up.
Velcro it.
And then I would also recommend, if you're just starting and you're loading onto these reels and you're really struggling and you don't have another spare piece of film to practice on beforehand, then grab this was Ilford HP5, Ilford sensor film in these black canisters. Just like coil up the film tightly, put it in the black canister, take everything out in the light, and then take a breather and then try again in like 15 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be sitting there struggling with the film, like ripping it apart, crinkling it, and damaging your film. Okay, so we'll zip that up. So then once you're like in here, just like get everything set up. I got my tank on the right. I got the empty canister for backup in the corner. Got my one reel here. Scissors, film. Okay. Just take your time when you're doing it for the first time for sure. And even if you're doing it for the 10th time, 100th time, take your time. It's good to take care of your film. It's fragile stuff, so you don't want to be touching, you want to touch the film as little as possible. And
No fingerprints.
yeah, you don't want fingerprints on the emulsion side. On the film-based side, it doesn't matter. It'll come off.
And how do you know which is which?
The emulsions in this case, the emulsion side is facing in towards the reel. It's only going to load on one way. Film-based side is the side you're looking at now.
So film base
Yeah, and emulsion side's the other side.
and emulsion side.
So as long as the little film can, I guess, is pointing down towards the ground, then you're good.
What are your fingers doing right now?
Right now, it's just doing that. I can't really describe it. It's doing.
Rubik's Cube?
The Rubik. Oh, that's a great way. That's awesome. So right now, what I'm doing is doing the Rubik's Cube thing.
So in the bag, this is what's happening. Film leader out, rolled in past the ball bearing, and then Ryan's doing the entire roll facing himself
Yeah.
like this, just putting it on the reel.
Yeah.
And you want to go a little bit past so that the film goes past the marks there.
No.
So Ryan's made it to the end of the roll, at the very end of the roll.
Yeah.
Scissors, cutting.
Okay. That looks good.
Now he's going to be loading into the tank,
Yeah. So
like this. Yeah.
taking.
And then taking this piece here,
Oh, you're beating me. Hold on.
faster.
You are
I've
faster.
done this way more times. than
Yes.
you. And there you go. So now it's light sealed. All the light is going in through the hole here, but just hitting the bottom.
Yeah.
You don't want to put this out in bright sunlight or anything, but in,
Yeah. Here is
like
fine.
this is
Like something
fine.
like this is fine. Yeah.
and then
And then
it's ready to go.
if you're doing like 2 rolls, just do an inventory check inside, make sure everything is good. Make sure there's no loose film, you didn't miss anything before you pull your arms out and open up the bag. But I'm just double checking everything. We're good.
These bags are also helpful if you have an analog camera that sometimes has problems doing things like rewinding film. And there's been a number of times that in hotel bathrooms I've had to put the towel under the door and unload film out of an old Nikon camera. So if this is a better solution for that.
You can just use these as backpacks too. Well, on Velcro, zipper part. Film is in here. This is the backup case, and then HP5.
There it is.
I trimmed to right about there. And then the pair of scissors should be somewhere in here. There it is. We can just put on a temporary lid for now.
Is color any different, Ryan?
Color for the film loading part, this whole part, no, it's not different. It's just the chemicals and the process will be different.
Here we have three things. One is a wetting agent. You may or may not need to use that. Or you will need to use developer
And fixer.
and a fixer.
Yeah, for sure you will.
So you need these two, absolutely.
It's helpful to have a stop bath too. You don't need to. It just controls the process a bit tighter. You can also just use plain water to stop the film develop. So in between developer and fixer, you can just use plain water. But if you want to, you can buy a stop bath or you can buy citric acid and mix it with some distilled water, and that'll work too. Before we figure out how to mix the chemicals up for this, there are directions, but I would recommend going to a website. There's a giant online database of development times, film stocks, and developers. It's called digitaltruth.com, and you go to the massive dev chart, and a lot of it is user submitted. Some of it is from documented numbers from Ilford, Kodak, ADOX, etc. But we're doing Ilford HP5 today, so we'll find Ilford HP5, hit search, and there it is. So it's recommended 1:9 dilution, HP5 shot at 400 ISO for 11 minutes or 14 minutes. Other times I'll have little notes on the side, and you can press the notes and see what they say about that.
So when you turn this on and update your firmware, and you'll actually have a bunch of these settings based on...
Oh, it looks like you can custom program
So you
too.
can do custom programs, or you can use the default programs. So if you want to use default program black and white general, or
There it
any
is.
of the C41s, E6,
Yeah.
and today we want to do black and white general.
Let's see what that does.
Black and white general.
Yeah, dev time, you can change it says 10 minutes, so we might change that to 11 for this developer.
What do we have for stop here?
A minute's good.
Minutes good.
Yep.
So 20 Celsius, is that fine?
Yep. We want 20 Celsius for everything.
So it comes default to 20 Celsius.
That's a pretty standard development time for black and white.
So 1 minute stop, 5 minutes fix, 10-minute rinse. Does that all align with what it says over there?
Just the development time is the most important. Everything else, we just want to get our development time as close to perfect as possible, either by what we find online or on the developer's bottle.
Yeah, and if you're doing C41, if the temperature isn't exactly what it should be, it will add seconds or subtract seconds based on that, so that it does the correct development time over the time, regardless of if there are any fluctuations. If you're in an extreme environment like it is minus 35 Celsius today here in Canada. So if we're doing this outside, might need some help here in a room temperature environment. I think it'll probably be fine. I think so. There we go. Now it's nice and level.
We'll just hit play.
So inside the tank,
Yeah.
it's doing this or it's doing this, and doing this. And the benefit of this way is that you can have just, if you're picturing here, you only have to have your liquid in a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was if nothing was happening, you have to fill the entire tank with your chemicals. So just a little bit, and then just dips it in and out.
If you remember chemistry
mostly
class,
fit.
pour 30 into the meniscus. You're doing great. You might be off by like 0.1, but it's fine. So we'll dump this 30 into this guy.
All right. Don't judge my gloves.
So this is just distilled water.
Pour it
Up
in,
to
and
300 in
this
that
goes
guy.
Up to 300?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm aiming for this line here. Again, splitting the G. Probably don't splash it so much.
Yep. It's okay, well, to agitate it in there because we're going to want to stir it for a bit after too.
We're also going to 300 as a bit extra as well, right?
Yeah, we're putting just 10 extra mils in.
Okay, what do we think?
Am
I under?
You can give a bit more. That looks good.
All right.
So we'll give it a little mix. I just use I just use this kind of stuff, and then
plastic fork. Okay.
and then we'll put this distilled water we had from the side, and we're gonna monitor the temperature of this guy.
So here we have Patterson darkroom thermometer.
Yeah.
And the goal is just to make sure that this is proper room temp.
Yeah,
and not,
we just want to get it to 20. Yeah, that's correct.
Let's see.
It'll take a bit to acclimate, and I don't know if my little. Yeah, we're pretty much almost there.
Digital says 19.7 Celsius. That's good.
Yep. And once we pour it from there, it was like a 19.8, 19.7. Once we pour from this into there, it's going to come up to 20.2 probably, maybe a bit overshooting, but that's okay. It's good to label your things, but we're just going to memorize. That's developer. And then we'll get the other stuff ready. Stop bath's already ready, but we can get the fixer ready. This looks like 1 to 4 dilution, which makes sense.
Right.
Usually you just mix the whole thing, and it keeps for quite a while.
Okay.
And eventually, when it starts to go, you'll notice the smell. There'll be chunks of silver in it, and you should dispose of that properly. The developer itself, generally I use the black and white developer one shot.
Okay.
So I use it once, and it just goes. Yeah, I don't like to reuse my black and white developers.
Why is that?
Just like you can muck around with adding development time for a reused developer, but then if you're like playing around with a lot of different film stocks, ISO 100 to like HP5 pushed to 3200, then there are too many variables to account for. So better just to get good images and keep all your variables constant. Stop bath you can use, like 10 times. Like one mixture of stop bath will last like 10 rolls. And then a lot of them will have an indicator in them to tell you when it's gone, the pH has gone too high. Fixer, you can always, if it's gone, you will know from the images, or the negative coming out, it'll be all cloudy. Just mix new fixer, put the film back in, refix. It's fine. But yeah, to get your developer right, get the developer step stopped properly, and then after that, the film can come into light, and these last two chemicals, you can go back, rewash your film, you can go back and refix your film. So the dilution for fixer is 1 plus 4. So 100 mils of fixer to 400 mils of water for 500 mils total. And we're just gonna use this one that I have labeled for fixer, bleach, or stop bath only. I only use this for non-developer chemicals. Looks like it's 100. They gave us the right amount. Awesome. And then just use the water we had earlier.
Up to 400.
Up to 400. And the measurements for chemicals for your stop bath and your fixer doesn't have to be as critical as your developer. All right, so we have stop, fix, wetting agents for later. All right, let's start up the machine.
So we're pouring the developer into right here, and it's going to go in the tank.
It looks like it's not leaking.
Success.
Beauty.
Nice. So now this just chills for
Yep.
10 minutes and
And then we will.
seconds.
We got a designated bucket for dumping.
Dump bucket. So most black and white chemicals can go down your drain. Should you bring
The
it
only,
to what do you do?
the
What-
only one that is not safe that I collect is residual fixer. This is because the fixer removes all excess silver. So you can take that to waste disposal, or you can buy a cool little gadget that collects all the silver for you, and you can take it to a dude, and he'll turn it into a silver bar for you later.
How many?
Whoa.
It takes a lot of film to do that.
How close are you to like?
I haven't even taken it in yet, because I only started that process much later.
To retirement savings plan? Can we see it? Where is it?
I don't have a silver bar yet. I have to
It's in
find
the safe. You
Where's the
didn't-
juice though?
the juice.
Yeah.
I keep in storage. No, dump it back. You can dump it in this guy. We can reuse this, so.
All right.
Dump Taylor.
Now it's going in here. Our lemon juice.
Yeah. Yep, that looks good. Then I like to actually, before I put fixer in,
satisfying.
I do a quick little water
do this
rinse.
one on here?
Okay, we're just putting fixer in for 5. This stage, like you could fix for 10, 20, it's not gonna hurt it, especially if you've used your fixer like 10, 12 times already, and it might be on its end of its life, then you can fix for longer, or it's probably just time to mix a new batch up. But this is fresh stuff we've done, so 5 minutes is plenty.
What kind of space do you need to keep a
Just
kit like this ongoing?
like this much. If you're just doing black and white,
sink, chemicals.
yeah, under the sink is fine.
done?
So yeah, so not a big deal. Just let this run, let it stop. No problem at all to let it run longer.
And this is the fixer? What
This is the fixer, yeah.
All right, and then is this going in this bucket?
We will
does
put
this
it
go back
into this graduated
This bucket. All right, back in the bucket with the fixer.
Yeah. Yep.
This is a lot easier than I thought. I know it's probably seemed very complex from the video, but we'll put a link down below to simple instructions. So by watching this, you probably have a pretty good understanding of the entire process. And then just by reading the notes again, I feel like you'll,
Read the manual, guys.
yeah.
Okay, so now what happens?
Okay, now we just start washing away.
What we got?
This is just tap water. The bottles look dirty, but it's tap water. Okay, I'm trying not to pour it all over the machine too, and I'm probably gonna overfill it. So I'm just gonna go like 400, like that. Probably overfilled it a little bit. So it's coming out of the tank, it's fine. More water is not necessarily a bad thing. So we'll do like 2 minutes of this. You can just watch the timer on the front here.
We also swapped to this tank from this tank. So this is the one that comes on it, just because we're only doing one roll today. Whereas if you're doing 2 rolls or you're doing 120 or something larger, you're probably gonna wanna use that tank.
And then how long does this go for?
I like to do 2 tap waters around 2 minutes each, and then 1 distilled water at the end for 2 minutes. So 6 minutes rough, like about 10 minutes total rinsing time, including time dumping and pouring, decanting in and out. Yeah.
So what does the film look like now?
It's done.
It's done.
It's done. We're just washing off any residual fixer and getting it ready to dry. So we want as little watermarks and fixer marks on there as possible, which is why distilled water is important. And I guess we can use this wetting agent, but we won't need to.
What does wetting agent do?
Wetting agent is essentially just like a little bit of dish soap, or I guess what's in the dishwasher? Rinse aid.
Blue stuff.
Yeah, the blue stuff. Very small amount of that in distilled water goes a long way into preventing watermarks. Same way preventing watermarks in your dishwasher.
Should I dump this?
Yeah, you can dump that guy.
It's been where do I dump?
This can go right in the bucket.
Big dump.
All right.
Yep.
Big dump in the bucket.
Yep.
So we ran tap water.
Yeah, you can kind of see it's like discolored a bit. We'll dump the next one into a clear thing. You can see the discoloration.
And then we're gonna add another tap water
Another tappy.
for another 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go to like 5:30 here, and then we'll dump that out. I'll put a little. Oh, we've got enough here. And then I got the distilled water ready over here still. Yeah, I already got this mixed up over there that we can use, so no need to use this right now. And this lasts pretty much forever too, until like your water gets discolored. So you're doing good, Taylor.
Thank you. I intended to do more, but
No,
it's an easier process than I expected. I don't know what I expected.
Yeah.
I knew that this machine made things easier and more linear.
It does, yeah.
Especially for color film. But yeah, I don't know what I was expecting, but this is easier.
This thing works
it.
great for a little home kit, for sure. Let's dump this into this one. I don't think I poured too much. There you go. Oh, it's cleaning nicely. You can see like this kind of like pinkish purplish color. So the more clear it is, the better. It really depends on the type of film. Some black and white films come out really purple, and you might need a fourth type of chemical to remove that, but this looks fine.
And then are we doing distilled or are we doing?
Yeah, this is distilled water that's already in here, so we're just gonna do this for 2 more minutes.
There it is.
Looking clear.
The last one. All right, and the final reveal. Here we go, the first roll of film that I kind of developed on my own. Ryan did a lot.
We did a good job. We see images.
All right, so Ryan has a drying rack with,
It
you
works.
don't need that, but if you have a space heater and you can close the door to your bathroom.
So I'm just hanging it to dry in here. I have an air purifier in there and a space heater. So I'm just pinching the film a little bit so it comes off the reel without. Hold it up high. Okay. Okay, that's good. Set this here.
And then we
Let's
got some film clips here as well, so we can hang to dry. If you want to? I guess we only did one roll, so we just need one, right?
Yeah, we
or
just
does
need
this
one.
go on the bottom for weight?
Why is it important to dry your film, Ryan?
Because we can't scan them while they're soaking wet like this. Well, they're not soaking wet right now, but yeah. Now we just set it there. I can turn on the heater. About 20 minutes from now, it'll be dry. So I use two things for the wetting agent part, and I use very little. So I dip a bit of Kirkland paper towel in there.
Does it have to be Kirkland brand?
No, it doesn't have to be. And I like to use this over Kim wipes because I can hold. This is just wetting agent on a bit of paper towel, so very little.
Congratulations.
Because less is more.
Just the final clean?
Yeah. And it looks good. If there was too much fixer or residual fixer or film dye left over, you would see this little towel be like kind of either pinkish or brownish, I guess. Do one there, looks good. And then I use, because I'm out of Kim wipes right now, so I've been using my expensive coffee filters as a gentle, and I barely do any pressure. And this is to remove any excess wetting agent so there's no bubbles on the film later. All right. We'll check it in 17 minutes.
Now, some of the other features of the AGO film processor is that you can actually connect to it over Wi-Fi if you do want to upload your own presets to it or programs, so you're able to process whatever you want to do. It's very customizable. We're very much using the basics of it today. And then for C41, the other important thing is that so you get everything up to temperature, and if you do happen to drop down in temperature, the AGO processor will add more time in order to compensate for that if you do end up a little bit below, or maybe if you start a little bit hot. So very easy for home development of your C41 film. Any scanning tips here? What are you looking for? What are you
So this is C41, but we're about to do black and white, so it's a bit different. I like to find a blank frame, like something like that, to get a reference from. I don't know if this film is the same as that, but it's fine. This will give us a good idea of what scanning settings to use. So I want, on a blank frame with no image, for the exposure setting to be about +1 EV. So I'm scanning at f8, and then about 1/80th of a second is +1 EV for a blank frame. And I'll scan the whole roll at this setting for C41. So let's just do a test frame here. Let's go, sure. Just random shot there. And it looks good. And then I will autofocus and then set it to manual for the rest of the roll.
So as you can see, it's just a backlight here that lights your film up. And you have control over the intensity of that. So if you do want to make it brighter or darker, if you're working with maybe an f8 macro lens, you can do it that way. And then you also have your color temperature as well. So if you want to get colder, warmer, you are shooting raw photos, but the closer you can get, I guess, to what you want.
To daylight, yeah.
Scanner here, and there's an anti-static attachment, and that goes on right here.
Yep.
Nice and easy. And then you're ready to go. And Ryan has 2 bowls. Tell me about your bowls.
These are just to keep the film from flying all over the place as we put it through the film holder.
So the scanner also comes with these tubes, so depending on what the distance, the minimum focus distance is of your macro lens, it also comes with rings to make your front filter the correct size for these tubes. Here are the rings right here. And we're now using Ryan's bowl setup where we load
Turn
this
this
in
guy
here,
on.
turn the light on.
Yeah. And then this is on manual focus. So we'll get it close enough. Shiny side away from your lens. So we want to scan the matte side, the emulsion side. If you don't know what side that is and you can't see it from the shininess, just look at the film rebate and make sure the letters in the film rebate are mirrored. So in this case, Ilford HP5 is mirrored. We'll face that towards our lens.
Autofocus to achieve focus, then switching to manual focus, and then you want to set a frame, so you can see that, +1 EV, so you want a little bonus light in there. And my settings are 125, f8, ISO 100. And we're just gonna go through here like this. And the goal is to not touch any of the images.
Okay, so we'll turn this off and go into Lightroom.
Why do you prefer Negative Lab Pro?
Over some of the other
What other
standalone.
options are there? I don't actually know.
There's Film Lab app, I think. You can just use curves in Lightroom or Photoshop to convert your negatives too. Okay, let's take a peek. So we got quite a bit of border there, but that's fine. Probably removed a couple extension tubes to reduce that, but it's okay. All right, so let's do a rough crop first. Something like that, maybe. It's fine.
I like borders, so you can choose to have borders or no borders.
Yeah. Do that. And then since we scanned the emulsion side, you can see here everything is mirrored. So the first thing we're going to do is flip everything horizontally. All right, now I'll pull up Negative Lab Pro. Actually, we'll do a preview scan like this. Set this to black and white. And then NLP can adjust the border buffer. So I'm going to set it to 10. And it's just remove as much of the border as possible so that it's not included into the conversion algorithm. And then this first frame here, I'm just going to crop off a little bit more. And then we'll preview this one instead. Looks good. Set color model to black and white. Put this back to default. And then we'll convert away.
So now you might realize that whenever you shoot film, a lot of people are very passionate about that this is the straight out of camera look, but actually your lab tech has full control, and it's actually your lab working with your raw file and not just a straight out of your camera scan. Things are coming up. It's nice. Nice.
And right now it's on just my default Negative Lab Pro is actually default black and white setting, which is just linear gamma. But if you go to tone profile there, you can play with different tone profiles that are in Negative Lab Pro. Or you can just export it as is and play around in Lightroom, Photoshop, however you want to edit your photos. But this gives you a good starting base though.
You can also adjust everything by the roll, correct?
Yes. So this is, it analyzed the entire roll and kind of tried to normalize the exposure across the whole thing. But you don't have to do that. You can analyze each frame individually. For color, it matters more because it spits out a nice white balance that you can start from.
Yeah.
But for black and white, it's fine. It doesn't
if
really
you're
matter.
like me and you shoot one color roll on a wedding day and you're in outdoor environments, then indoor environments, then LED indoor, then candlelit indoor, all in one roll, it's important to have full control and to go through everything.
Yep.
Black and white balance a little easier. I guess there's no, it's just
not even existent. Yeah, if you wanted like a lower contrast look to edit from or have a more flatter editing, you can go to linear flat, for example. Yeah, it's just going to remove all contrast. And you can even go flatter at this point by reducing the contrast slider.
Deep looks pretty nice.
Yeah, generally linear deep or linear gamma for black and white looks great.
Cool. And then apply and it's done?
Yeah, it'll just, and you can sync them across all the frames, or you can edit each individual frame in Negative Lab Pro. However you want to edit, it's all non-destructive because everything's scanned raw.
So if you have a nice lab like Ryan, he'll do all this for you.
Yeah, I'll do all.
Sometimes if you're getting the discount scans, it comes back and things are sideways. There it is. AGO film processor, at-home kit, as well as the 35mm scanner. Really easy setup. I know we have a lot of stuff going on here, but it really is a simplified version to develop your own C41, E6, ECN, black and white, like we did today. Thanks for watching. Any questions, put them down below, and myself or Ryan can answer them. Thanks to Ryan for joining me on this adventure.
No problem. It was a lot of fun.
And for offering his 10,000 rolls of assistance, because it brought a lot more to this video than just using this film processor in my bathroom. Oh,
You would
went to sleep.